Nobody move a fucking muscle! This is a fucking robbery!
Everyone remain calm and be cool. This will all be over before you know it. Nobody needs to get hurt.
Let's shuffle, people! Everyone, sit in the room now!
Well, that's right. I was a hostage during a live bank robbery in New York City. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and this is a part of a live theater in New York City during an event for Payday 3, where they had me and 60 other influencers, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and whatnot go to an old-school bank in New York City, where now it's used for things like weddings and live events, and they threw on a show where they literally robbed the bank live in the style of Payday 3. Well, today's video is sponsored by Payday 3, so a big shout out to them giving me early access to some of the new missions to show you all, and also for flying me and everybody out for a fantastic event in New York. I met so many people that you probably watch on the daily, a great group of folks out there, good old friends, new friends, and it was a great time. So thanks to them for that. And yeah, so I wanted to bring some footage to you all today of the new mission, which you may have seen during, I think it was the Summer Games Fest event, where they showcased some of the new missions known as 99 Boxes, about trying to keep a trailer cool and robbing it from like a trucking company, and of course the previous mission, which you may have seen before, about a bank robbery, which is similar to the old school mission from Payday 2, but kind of revamped for Payday 3. Now, Payday 3 is dropping on September 21st, 2023, and I believe from September 8th until the 11th or 12th, they're having an open play test, to which earlier you may have seen us playing the closed playtest on the channel. Now, we've got some great friends and some real great people who are big fans of Payday, who know that there's actually a story tied to this game. I had no idea that all the characters had really rich and detailed backstories that are carrying over to this game. I kind of thought they were all just whatever, but it actually follows a story of some other characters coming on back from the past and some new characters, and of course Ice-T is a part of one of the new missions too, and it's nice to see all the celebrity cameos for, like for example, the dentist from Giancarlo Esposito, who voices that character, and of course there's all sorts of updates and DLC to Payday since its release. I think about 10 years ago or so. I think it was like 2013 that Payday 2 came out, and of course that had tons of great DLC, including the more recent Crude Awakening mission, which you may have seen on the channel as well. But I've got some wonderful friends who I talked to and broke down some of the new skills for the game, and luckily when we were able to play, we unlocked all the weapons, and we had pretty much everything at our disposal for skins, customization, skill trees, and characters, and all the equipables like, you know, grenades and extra ammo and health packs and whatnot, and it seems like it's quite promising, honestly. I'm very excited to try it, hopefully before it comes out on the 21st, to showcase it all to you. But of course it's a 4-person cooperative shooter, PvE, where you're fighting against you know, the bank security and the police and whatnot, to then eventually rob banks and trucking companies, steal technology, anything that's worth a lot of money. You'll be in charge of stealing and or information or whatnot, taking photos, whatever else. The game features some missions that are solely stealth, and then eventually can break into like a going loud situation where you just say, you know, mask off, or rather mask on, and then you start, you know, shooting and trying to take down anybody who tries to stop you, and load up the van with as many bags of money or diamonds or jewels or whatever that you can. And yeah, it's been a great formula. The music is outstanding for Payday 2, and I'm excited to hear the Payday 3 soundtrack. And it's a game that I think just continues on real strong. It's in the same wheelhouse as like what I want from Left 4 Dead, where I want that game to continue. It kind of did with Back 4 Blood, but Payday is still Payday, and it's still good. And yeah, there was a lot of great little things to do at the event, including the little money tornado that you see there. We were picking locks, and we were taking photos, and yeah, there was a lot of great food, a lot of great conversation, a lot of excitement about the game as well. A lot of people not knowing what they were doing. Actually, it seems like the people who were playing for the first time, who'd never played Payday 3 before, or any Payday game, from Fortnite to Call of Duty, people knew exactly what to do right away, so that was good to see. So yeah, Payday 3 coming out on September 21st, 2023. I wanted to showcase some of the new trailers for Payday 3 with Pearl and Joy, and then also, of course, the upcoming release by showing some gameplay of the 99 Boxes mission. If you want to see any of the bank robbery missions from before, make sure you check the channel for, I think, 2 previous live streams that we did on it. Me and the boys really liked it a lot and want to keep on playing it a lot more. So when we get access to the open beta, we'll certainly be playing that in the next few days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and hit that like button. let's watch the trailer.
Keep an eye out for cameras. I'm in. I got the hack running. Mask up, game on.
Let's get out of here!
Alright, so certainly a lot of big O guns in this one, and it's a good start for how many are here now, and I'm imagining later on down the line there'll probably be a lot more available in terms of missions and content and skins and other weapons. Already excited for that, loved what they added to Payday 2, but now Payday 3, of course, allows you to customize everything from your suit to your gun, all different sorts of decals and little charms and whatnot on there, including your mask, and also you can customize like different sections of the gun, which I thought was pretty cool. So if you want to do the grip or the slide differently, you can definitely do that if you want to. Not really caring too much about decoration or whatnot myself. This is some footage provided by the devs too from the event as well. I was able to play a little bit myself, and we were able to capture some footage, but we're going to go with some of the footage that the dev team or the PR team has provided for us here. So it's cool though. We're able to see a little bit of different style of gameplay, from Enforcer to Technician to anybody who is just trying to be more stealthy and trying to do it as stealthily as you can until you get caught. And that's kind of how it went for our team as well. I played with 2 other people and an AI as well, which was pretty good. The AI was, as you'd imagine, where it needed to be, when it needed to be there, not walking out in front of guards and getting caught or anything. But was certainly pointing out guards and cameras, as you can do with the middle mouse button, which is good. You can help your team know where the enemy is or where a guard is. You can pickpocket them, steal a badge or an ID off of them, and get into other unlocked rooms. And another thing too that's great about Payday is that every time that you play, things are a little bit different. Rooms will be moved around, certain doors will be locked with different security keycard doors. Security rooms can move from one floor to another or a different side of the building. So every time you play, the objective and the overall feel of the mission will be the same, no matter how many times you play it, but things will be mixed up a little bit. So if you're trying to speedrun it or do it perfect stealth, things will still be a little bit challenging. So, you know, they're good. You can do things repetitively because you like a particular mission, and you want to, of course, grind money to unlock more guns, but things will always be challenging because, of course, there's different levels of difficulty, and also the procedural factors of a room or places of a room is moving around. For example, on the bank mission, me and my friends got used to a particular security room being on the roof, and then upon some other attempts, then it was a completely different spot, like in the middle of the bank, like on the second floor rather than on the roof. So pretty cool how things change out. But yeah, the game looks good, the guns sound good, the feel is good, the music is great. And I'm really excited to see other missions. Like, I've only played 2 so far, and I just want to play more, which is why I'm very excited for that open beta, but then, of course, the release on the 21st, just to give it a shot myself. So, yeah, up to 4 players. They're starting on normal. Difficulty goes up to, like, mega overkill, like insane levels of difficulty, where if you play this game all the time, that's still not going to be enough to like become a master at it. So it's certainly always challenging. Again, I want to see where some of the missions are where you're supposed to just go loud from the beginning, where like you're just like plowing a truck into a bank truck and just stealing all the money out of it and just being like, you know what, we're not even going to go stealth, we're just going loud and just shooting everything that moves. But of course, this is a mission that is a little bit more stealthy, but this team here is going for the immediate loud, which is an option too. You can go right in and just start shooting and get right into the shootout with security, and then the police will show up, then SWAT and other levels of more armored police. Now, this game also has specialty police, just like the previous games, where you have like tasers and cloakers and enforcers, which are like bulldozers. Like they're heavy units that can either tase you and disable you unless a team member comes over and takes them out, or possibly you could shoot them too because you're being tased, you know, so your body's going crazy. But of course, there's other factors to consider too, like there might be also traps or whatnot set or, well, things to detect you if you're trying to go stealth. But I want to see some other things, too, like gun turrets or whatnot. Probably not in this game, but I'm sure there's many different ways that they could mix this up a little bit if you're robbing from the cartel or something. That's what I'm speculating on, is I want to see all these different missions that they've done before, but for 2023. And so, yeah, there you go. Guard taken down there. Nice shot. Identifying where everything is. Now, an interesting thing about this game, if you haven't seen it before, is that there's a casing mode to the game where you're just kind of walking around in a suit and tie, you know, outside of a bank or a factory or a jewelry store, and you're casing the joint. You can identify cameras, and like I mentioned before, you can monitor guards and their patrol patterns, steal security cards from them and whatnot. But if you're going to be taking people hostage or shooting cameras or whatnot, then you have to put your mask on, and there's kind of no going back. Once you go loud, you know, there's stealth, and then there's kind of a soft loud, and then full loud, where, you know, the police are on the way and everybody knows where you are. So there'll be endless onslaughts of police waves where eventually they will subside, and then you can get a chance to heal your team, get more ammo, or even release a hostage in exchange for a teammate. So there's a lot of mechanics here returning from the second game that just work perfectly, and obviously they're staples for Payday, and so why wouldn't they be here? Lock picking. There's also doors that sometimes need to be opened via thermite, and that's what will be happening here in this mission now. As the team has kind of gone loud, eventually a helicopter will drop off thermite, which will then have to be dropped onto doors of containers in order to then burn through them and start loading up certain items from one container to another. Lots of cool mechanics in this game, though, I must say already. I can remember the bank robbery mission being pretty straightforward, though to do it stealthily, you must kidnap or take hostage the bank manager, and then bring him over to the retina scanner, and then actually have him like open the safe that way. And then money can also have ink packs in them explode, so you have to disarm those too. So even if you were to do everything stealthily, you'd probably have to take out a couple of cameras, maybe knock out a couple of people and zip tie them. It's very hard to do it like perfectly, and that's something that's very satisfying, is to be able to do that. But here the team's setting up a zip line, which is also part of the game too, and only in particular missions. A lot of this is set up to be kind of linear, where it's kind of a mission objective. It's not like this team has just decided to do it. It's just part of this mission too. But in the pre-mission briefings, there are options for having different types of things set up around the map to assist you. You can have somebody go in beforehand to hide like a drill somewhere, or like you saw there, the zipline kit, maybe move it in an area that's more easily accessible, or some extra ammo or med kits or something like that. Or you can buy intel too, and some other stuff. There's like a whole system for that. And so you can spend some of the money that you've gotten from previous bank robberies on getting ready for the next robbery, kind of paying for a much bigger setup and then a much better execution, because of course you know where things are, and thus you can probably make some more money from it because you haven't had to have cleanup forces. Like you know, too many civilian casualties will mean that you have to kind of pay a cleaner to come in. So every time you shoot somebody, it's, I don't know, 25,000 or something like that. It all depends probably on the difficulty, but this game certainly rewards doing things right. But, you know, if you're just goofing around and just want to lob a bunch of grenades and blow up police cars and things like that, you can definitely do that too. And it's certainly a lot of fun to be able to kind of like go around and like fight your way out of a situation and then run towards the van with multiple duffel bags. And there's perks in order to make that easier. As I mentioned before, with enforcers and technicians, there's ways to permanently or almost permanently be stealth, where you can throw jammers at cameras, and if you knock out a guard, you can pick up their pager and kind of like trick the other security people who might be asking where they are on patrol. And they kind of simulated a lot of that in the actual bank robbery too, that they staged at the event that I was at. They simulated somebody kind of picking up a pager, and they mentioned an ECM blocking all cell phones and things like that. I think that's electronic countermeasure, and they hacked into a bank vault, and they opened that up and had us grab all the duffel bags. Things that you do in pretty much every mission is, you know, sneak in, find things, and then bring them all to one location, then get out. At the end of this mission, there is an objective to lay spike strips to stop police from chasing you out of the actual harbor. So I can remember from Payday 2, I believe there are a few missions as well where you're driving like high-end sports cars out of like a high-end dealership and into like some sewers and tunnels and things like that. So I really think that this game so far hasn't yet revealed how big some of these missions are going to be. Some of these first missions are just kind of like, I think, mission one of a whole storyline. Like, for example, with Ice-T, who actually voices a character who you're doing a mission for now. And in fact, they were trying to get him out to come to the event, from what I hear. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they actually have actors do multi-part missions where it's, you know, part 1, 2, 3, chapter 1, 2, 3. And, you know, things get hairier and hairier as they go. And, you know, there's some characters returning from the previous games that were thought to be dead or in prison or whatnot. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, it feels like the Expendables. Even though it's kind of, you know, a serious type thing, the game certainly has a lot of fun aspects to it where it's just perfect for anybody wanting to be casual and throwing it on normal, to anybody who's a perfectionist and wants to go, you know, fully stealth or not be downed at all. You have a lot of options for bringing in armor too that hurts or helps your concealment. Obviously, bringing in like full like bomb suit level armor is going to make it easy for everybody to detect you, and you're going to be immediately detected. And some missions are like that. I believe there's options to save presets too. So if you want to go loud, you can have that already ready to go. If you want to be a technician and be quiet, you can kind of have that ready to go too, depending on your playstyle. And I also believe in this game, your skill points can be retrieved. So if you want to try something like, I don't know, being more intimidating to hostages or something, and you just don't really know how to do it, you're not interested in that, you want to hack into computers and cameras instead, then you can totally do that and you get your points back. So as you play more and more, you unlock more total points, and then you can spend those and retrieve those from different types of, you know, like banks that you invest them into, you know, like something like carrying more ammo or carrying like a drone, like turret or something like that from the second game. Now, in the 2 hours that I was able to play this mission, and maybe the other maybe 4 or 5 hours that we were able to play the bank mission, there was still a lot of things that I wasn't able to test out yet. Like, for example, the closed beta didn't really let us invest any points into skill points, and the event in New York allowed us to pretty much do everything. So it was certainly a lot more different to play kind of for the first time this mission with everything unlocked without the experience. But it'll be cool to eventually play this game many, many times and then find out the things that I really like about it, and then invest points into those things that I really like. And typically, I want to either be stealthy myself and do lock picking and identify where guards are and steal badges, you know, just be like a little sneaky snake. But then when it's time to go loud, I do want to do something like the LMG. I'm not so good at sniping, and rifles are a little, I don't know, low ammo for me. So I like to lay down fire and block doorways and stuff like that and cover the team and try to be like the last man out with the last bags and stuff, which is usually why I go down and everyone has to come back to me anyway. But it'll be a great learning experience for me and all my friends. And for those of you who play with friends, it'll be cool to see, you know, if you've got a multitude of people playing it. It's great to see all the different play styles and people talking techniques. It almost is like a big esport event, although it's just PvE. But there are, you know, maximums that you can get for doing a robbery, essentially just completely, like perfectly. Now here they have a secondary objective to get additional loot. So while they're also trying to get these really high-end tech components, they're also trying to get some extra cash. So that'll give you a little bit of bonus money. And there's new mechanics here, something like along the lines of what I've seen from GTFO, where once the container opens, or when it's like the outer container is open, the inner container won't open until the container thinks that it's at a particular spot where it's supposed to be an Earth, like it's a GPS lock. And so you're going to different positions to trick the computer inside to think that you're basically having your tech person who's not on site get a reception to the box so they can unlock it much more easily. So yeah, that's pretty cool that they put in that mechanic, and I want to see more things like that too. Yeah, I like the gloves here. I like what they went with the gloves and the golden gun too. Very N64 for these people. Now, I feel like the people who are playing right now are also just part of a tech team. I'm not sure if these are actual developers or people who've had a lot of experience in the game, but I've got to say, I again think that this is going to be a game that a lot of people are going to be able to get into very easily. And I hope many people have played Payday 2 since it's been around for about a decade, and even more so with the original game. So many opportunities have come by to buy the original games and DLCs as they were on sale. And so hopefully a lot of people are like, oh, damn, they're making a new Payday 3? Sweet. And hopefully everybody gives a lot of good feedback on what they love about the game and what they think could be different. And Luckily, in 2023, I think we do live in a time where with Discords and with Twitter open, a lot of people can say, I love this mission, do more of these, and that could influence the developers to do things in the future. And I'm sure they've already got roadmaps planned out and additional content that will come down the line and things that they want to include and characters that will be, dropped at random and new storylines and whatnot. But yeah, this certainly reminds me of, GTA in a way. Because it feels a little bit more playful like that, where it's even though it's hardened criminals stealing and shooting back at the police, it feels like you're just more going for the highest score. It almost feels like an escape room with guns in some ways, because you are kind of solving puzzles and finding the easiest ways to get back to certain areas and then escape, which they're about to do now in this big rig here, and then lay down. Somebody must have already laid down the spike strips and stuff like that. So. But yeah, great PvE game for sure, and I want to see a little bit more footage from other people playing here to see what they did. This is a great gun. I did not get a chance to play with all of them. I believe I played with a shotgun so far, something along the lines of an AK, a revolver, and I was able to also use a sniper rifle. There's some sort of a mode where when you get I don't know if it's a certain kill streak or something. I forget what they call it exactly. I haven't yet had a chance to do it, but when you do something, you'll get access to like kind of a special weapon, and I was able to get access to a sniper rifle that, was able to get through shields and things like that very easily. So when it comes to dealing with the shield police or like the heavily armored ones, or just a lot of them stacked in a line, you can just easily take them out that way with 1 or 2 shots. So that's pretty cool. Wow, the character disappeared, but the gun was still in the animation. That was pretty damn cool. So mission complete from that team. Well done. Let's watch another one then. So at the end of the mission, you come on back, and it basically tallies up all your points. What everybody's performance was. It's all based on player too. So if you do really well and don't kill anybody, and your friend is just like it's their first time and they've just mowed everybody down that moves, including all the just like civilian workers at the docks, they'll be docked the points and you won't. But obviously it's a team effort to improve, and I think maybe you get more money overall for something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But now I think this time around, this team is going to go a little more stealthy. This could be footage from the same mission, but different perspective. I see the character with the gold gloves there, lower right corner, crouching now. But yeah, plenty of options in this game. I think the thing that ends up happening the most with people is that they will try to case the joint, be quiet, and go in as stealthily as possible, and then just there's so much going on, so many moving parts at a certain point that somebody just gets caught and you go loud. And I honestly think this might be one of the earlier missions, or at least in this quest line with Ice-T, it's one of the first ones that you encounter, but I'm not sure. But like I mentioned, I don't think skill is going to be too much of a factor here. It's just going to come down to more repetitive gameplay of trying things over and over again and seeing what works for you. So I'm excited to see what the community's reaction will be to this, and to honestly play with my friends to get a little deeper into the skills and some of the guns to find out what each person's preference is and how they can expand upon that as you kind of develop your team. It's kind of implied in the game that you're already a professional. You're already third game in, and a lot of these characters have already been working together and whatnot through the storylines, and it's not their first rodeo. And of course you can use things to try to lure the enemy over, and those are things that perhaps if you played the previous games you might know. But yeah, it's funny how there's like a little bit of professionalism to the characters, and then also people who might be very good at the game too to match that, or people playing for the first time. So I really want to see with the people that I know how things will go with new players to this third game, who are playing this third game for the first time, like the franchise for the first time. People coming from 2 to 3, taking all the experience from 2 and bringing it to 3, and then people who are just like absolute monsters who like can just figure everything out and become really skilled within a matter of moments. Like there are a lot of things in this game to learn, but if you played other stealth games, you know about lockpicking and cameras, so it'll be cool to see everybody learning within the first week or two, and we will certainly be playing this live on the 21st when it drops, and kind of figure out how all the missions work and talk about it in more depth when we're starting from like a clean wipe in any other game where you're starting with no skills, no things unlocked, just the basic vanilla day one stuff, and then eventually breaking out into like sniper rifles and I don't know, traps and flamethrowers. Who knows? That's some stuff I'd like to see, though. There are grenade launchers and big O sniper rifles, so it'll be kind of cool to see. So yeah, certainly something that I really am excited to see for my team and all the people that I play with. But I want to know from you guys, too, what you think about Payday in general, and especially Payday 3 when you get your hands on it, too. And remember about that free beta from the 8th to, like, the 11th or 12th. Things always get extended, too, so always keep an eye out for it. But that should be an open beta that everyone should have access to via Steam. So if you're watching this between those dates and you want to give it a try, hell, why not? You know, it's free. You download it, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 gigs, and then boom, you've got it and can give it a try. And it's certainly a game that I want to see succeed because Payday and these other 4-player PvE shooters, there's many of these, they seem to be the most fun and the most atmospheric, where it's kind of like you up against the ropes against an enemy that continuously is increasing in difficulty as you try to survive or get through a mission. As we're in PvP, it's kind of like matchmaking can be very difficult too, where sometimes skill-based matchmaking some people love, some people don't, but this doesn't have any of that, so it's really just about learning the systems and the gameplay mechanics, the skills, and then, of course, customizing things with all the extra cash that you get. And going through the story, too. I know there are a few people out there, like, for example, you know Bradford, a good friend of ours who we stream with often, really knew a lot about the characters. I had no idea that there was so much to them. Like, I just thought it was like, oh, you know, former FBI agent who became a robber or something like that. No, there's a lot more to these characters, and now I kind of feel bad that I didn't know. But I certainly want to play more Payday 2 in anticipation of Payday 3. So if you got 2, fire it up and get ready for 3. And then on the 21st, of course, you can pre-order now if you want to, but on the 21st when it drops, you can go ahead and grab that one and then start playing right away. And I really want to see how mission progression works, how many, you know, different contractors or quest givers or whatever you want to call them, crime bosses, whomever, masterminds, you get access to at the start, and how different these missions are. Now, this mission takes place in New York, too, so you're at, like, a New York harbor, but I hope to see things all over the world. I hope to see all sorts of different locations, both old and modern locations. Everything from, like, a high-rise to an old office building to an old bank to, you know, a modern warehouse and stuff like that. And I want to see where these missions take us. Now, when I think of this game, too, I think of how some of the missions from Call of Duty blew me away. And some of those missions were just like, oh, no way, they did that. And I still feel that way about some of the stuff that happens in Payday 2. As I mentioned, the car heist and some of the missions where you go loud and things like the oil rig, which is like the newest one, which I can't believe they're still making DLC for it. And there's tons of bundles for it. Oh, now they're just goofing and memeing. Now they're just shooting at each other like goofs. I think at the end of this mission, they're I think they call it or something like that, and then they just start shooting at barrels. I think they were just testing to make sure the recording stuff was working, but yeah, they're just goofing, which is totally something you should totally do in the game, for sure, 100%. So yeah, anyway, Payday 3, I'm very excited to see what this game will eventually lead into over the next couple of years. I hope it starts out great, and this will be a starting point for the new, you know, Payday franchise. Hopefully it gets a lot of people interested in Payday again, as they haven't played since, you know, too many people, and hopefully for the people for the first time, are like, oh, what's this Payday game? Wow, they made a third one, and that's truly what I want to see. Yeah, they're goofing with these barrels. They're having a barrel of fun, that's for sure. But yeah, you can do a lot of parkour in this game as well. You can, you know, jump between. This mission has a lot of that actually, where you're climbing on containers, up containers, jumping across containers. So a little bit more different gameplay mechanics than I've seen before. Oftentimes it's just stealth and you know, like holding a room as you push through, but this one's kind of the first that I've seen for parkour in the Payday series. Not to say that there hasn't been any before, but certainly a lot of missions, certainly a lot of stuff to do, and certainly a lot more coming down the road too. This is certainly a game 100% that'll be supported for a long time, and I certainly want to play it a lot more too with a lot of my friends who might not have played before, and see what our different play styles bring us. And of course, all the money. It's going to be awesome to see how much money we can get, and I hope we can do other things with our cash instead of just buying guns and paint jobs. Maybe eventually we'll get to buy property or cars or something. I don't know. It'd just be cool. Like, I'm just dreaming. But you do get to sit on quite a bit of cash in the game, and again, that cash can go towards future missions and weapon upgrades and different types of stocks and sites and things of that nature. So pretty cool to see. So anyway, let me know all your thoughts on the Payday series as a whole. Let me know what other types of missions from the past you'd like to see remade in the second game. I certainly think that there will be some from the second game that they're going to bring into this one, such as how Nuketown continues to reappear time and time again in Call of Duty. I really hope and think that the developers will take some classics from Payday 2 and bring them in here too and remix them quite a bit and make them be like, wait a minute, that's like that one mission. And I think devs really like to do that as kind of a nod to anybody who's paying attention. Like, yeah, put that in there. That's pretty nice that they give a little bit of a shout out to the past. For those of you who played the previous games, you'll recognize it. Damn, hell of a lot of explosions here. I don't remember so many barrels being in the map. Oh, but they're everywhere. And you know, as a gamer, if it's red, it's got to be dead. You got to shoot it, and yeah, make those barrels explode. Wow, I didn't know you could actually move the forklifts. Somebody else must have been doing that on our team. Yeah, they must be doing that so they can get up on the containers. All right, well, that's a good tip for next time. Next time I play this mission. Oh, yeah, got a shield cop dealing with there. Oh, looks like melee is a good way to deal with them, too. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, there's the... Oh, that's one of the side containers, I think. That might be one where they have to... Oh, that might be the main one. Nope, there's just some cash in there, so they're good. Yeah, that's your side objective there. Pick the lock and then throw some extra cash into the truck. And I hope more missions have these types of side objectives or whatnot. Wow. Oh, he got through the lock. There he goes. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the lock pick will automatically pick the lock, but it'll do it faster if you happen to hit F in the area at the top to make it green. So yeah, some of those early quick time events when you're learning for the first time, like I assume this team has, you're like, what the hell do I do? Like, do I hit it before it hits it? Like, is it a sequence thing? Like, is it Rock Band? It's like a fishing mini game. But yeah, so that'll continue to fill up, and I believe there's probably skills for that where it's either going to be easier or faster, or it'll be automatic if you do something along those lines. And it looks like the team is running back to the... Oh, yeah. Okay, so they're getting the GPS stuff done, and then they're going to go to the truck. Yeah. Now, again, I played the bank robbery mission for this event with all skills on Lock 2, and tried to do it stealthily, but went the thermite route. And pretty much, that was the first thing we did for warm-ups, and it was quite good. And I got to say, the skills certainly make quite the difference for a team even when they're getting started. And we were able to load up that van pretty damn quick. The first time we played, we had somebody on our team during the closed beta trying to take the thermite bag and throw it into the van. Lumberjack did that. So, but yeah, a big thanks to the Payday 3 team for the event. I thought it was quite neat, and I hope to do more of these things where I get to meet other influencers and content creators and people of gaming backgrounds and military backgrounds who've started channels, etc., and chat with them about what their opinions on these games and other games that are similar to that, and then just discuss how it's impossible to play this game and not think of other games that it's similar to. So yeah, a big thanks to them, a big thanks to my friends Dirty and Lumberjack for coming out, as well as Bradford, to meet and chat about the game outside of the event, and just hopefully we get a chance to play more Payday 3, and that's who we'll be playing with primarily, as well as Jerry and hopefully Red too. So if you want to see a lot more of us play, it'll be on their channels too. You'll be able to see their perspectives and their thoughts, and ask them a little bit more about it as well. But hey, try it for yourself during the open beta event. There'll probably be a few missions available. Hopefully they'll allow us to spend a few skill points and try to unlock new stuff, and yeah, hopefully it's a good time. It certainly was to play with a bunch of people that I didn't know, so now we'll see what happens when we get into the full game with people that I've played with before and get a feel for. Interestingly enough, I think it'll go better with people that I didn't know who are just kind of like trying to work their way through the game and figure stuff out than when you try to go in as an organized team. So yeah, good times. Wow, they were just surrounded by police. All right, everyone. Well, that is it for my time today for Payday 3. Thank you very much again to the devs for sponsoring. Check it out now on Steam. Links down below in the description. Out on the 21st. You can pre-order it up until September 21st. Otherwise, it'll drop, and then you can get it anytime after. And that beta from September 8th to like the 11th or 12th, maybe even longer. Hopefully, they extend that so everyone can play a lot longer. All right, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.